cha-cha on the ballroom beat. Whoa, 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 cha-cha on the ballroom beat. Got two left feet, get on the ballroom beat. They're dancing in the street, they're on the ballroom beat. We can tango, we can swing, we can do anything. Walking through the door and waltz on the floor. You wanna feel the heat, get on the ballroom beat. Cha-cha on the ballroom beat. Foxtrot on the ballroom beat. Salsa on the ballroom beat. Cha-cha on the ballroom beat.
And welcome to On the Ballroom Beat. I'm your host, Claudia Berger, and tonight we're going to be looking at some of the reasons that folks are so thankful that they tried ballroom dancing. But before we get into that, let's take a moment to remember the history of Thanksgiving. In September of 1620, a small ship called the Mayflower left Plymouth, England, carrying 102 passengers. Many of them were looking for religious freedom, seeking a new home where they could freely practice their faith. Others were just hoping for the promise of prosperity and land ownership in a new world. After a treacherous and uncomfortable crossing that lasted 66 days, they dropped anchor near the tip of Cape Cod. About half of the original passengers survived to see their first New England spring, and in March, when they moved ashore, they received a visit from an Abenaki Indian who greeted them in English. Several days later, he returned with Squanto, who taught the Pilgrims how to cultivate corn, how to extract sap from maple trees and catch fish in the rivers. He taught them which poisonous plants to avoid. And after their very first corn harvest in 1621, they had their very first Thanksgiving feast. Governor William Bradford invited the Native Americans to join the Pilgrims, and that was our first Thanksgiving back in 1621. Now, the fourth Thursday of every November is celebrated by presidential proclamation since 1863. And traditionally, it's a time to be grateful and thankful for the blessings of the year, and it's officially the start of the holiday season. Now, there are so many things to be thankful for, but what we're going to be focusing on tonight is why so many people are grateful and thankful that they tried ballroom dancing. We are ballroom dancers, and unlike so many people who go day to day from work to home with the same routine each day, we embrace moments as opportunities to dance. We bring joy to our spirits and allow our souls to soar on the dance floor. We know that life is too short to neglect our own happiness and fulfillment, and so we take time to improve our confidence, our health, to laugh together, to reach out and connect with one another. Dancing brings us confidence, it keeps us young. It brings people together and connects them in a special way. Dancing can challenge us, and it can also fulfill us. It has the unique ability of healing our wounds and rebuilding us. Today we celebrate all the benefits of ballroom dancing by sharing with you letters from Arthur Murray students around the country. Each one a story of personal growth, joy, and gratitude for all that ballroom dancing does. Our first letter comes to us from Marlton, New Jersey. Rebecca tells of how she and her husband started learning how to ballroom dance, and that their son Alex ended up taking a turn on the dance floor as well. This is a letter that tells us how thankful Alex is that he started learning how to dance so young.
Our 13-year-old son, Alex, started taking dance classes at Arthur Murray in Marlton, New Jersey, when he was almost 11 years old. He would walk into the studio, never making eye contact with anyone, march to his spot, pop on his headphones, and play on his gaming device while his father and I were dancing. After a few months, he'd occasionally look up during our lesson to see what we were doing, but then go right back to his game. The school dance was approaching, and Alex didn't want to go because he was nervous. I asked him if he'd like to take a dance lesson or two, and he responded that he'd rather play his game. I asked a few more times, and finally he was willing to take a couple of lessons, on the condition that they were with our instructor, Stacy. Alex was nervous on his way to his first lesson, at one point wanting to go back home, but battled his nerves and went in. Miss Stacy was so patient with Alex and kept the lesson very lighthearted and fun. Alex had fun and was excited to schedule another lesson. The next time he went into the studio, his father and I noticed that he was standing a little taller, walking more confidently, and looking Miss Stacy in the eye when they talked. As the lessons progressed, they became more than just dance lessons working on footwork, but became an excellent way to practice social skills. Alex was carrying on conversations with his instructor, looking her in the eye and giving her time to respond. He was learning how to confidently ask someone to dance, something that makes many adults nervous. Stacy boosted Alex's confidence tremendously. He was able to try new things and not be afraid to make a mistake. He started coming into the studio and talking to other instructors and students. On particularly difficult or stressful weeks, he asks if he can schedule a lesson because he needs to relax. What a wonderful skill to learn at a young age, recognizing that you're stressed and having a healthy, constructive way to relax. At school, his teachers have commented that they've noticed dramatic improvements in his coordination, body control, self-confidence, focus, attention, and eye contact. In the 2 years of taking lessons, we've watched our son grow from a shy boy afraid to make mistakes to a confident leader willing to take chances and improvise. I was his partner at his first medal ball 3 months ago. If he was nervous, I never knew. He led the dance confidently, was in control, smiled, made eye contact, and had a great time. As a parent, what more can I ask for? A hobby that is helping my son become comfortable in his own skin and teaching him lessons that will last a lifetime.
I had the opportunity to chat with Rebecca a little bit earlier this week, and she reiterated again how people comment all the time about the transformation that Alex took because of his experience as a ballroom dancer. Thank you so much to Rebecca for taking the time to chat with me and also to write that beautiful letter. I also want to mention that she spoke very highly of the atmosphere at Marlton, New Jersey, the warmth, the family feeling that the staff and the students have over there. And I think that that's something that those of us who are part of Arthur Murray's around the world can certainly relate to because it is such a warm family atmosphere. Alex, keep dancing. So excited to see that it's had such a wonderful effect on such a lovely young man. Now, our next letter comes from Minneapolis, Minnesota. George and Claudia take lessons up there, and they are going to tell us a little bit about why they're thankful that their ballroom dancing helps them to stay feeling so young.
I am a retired 69-year-old physician who takes lessons with my wife a day or two a week. We take advantage of the group lessons, parties, and also participate in some of the shows. We started 2 years ago this month while my wife was recovering from a severe neurological illness that has since largely resolved. She attributes part of her recovery to her experience with Arthur Murray. My wife and I have great praise for the Arthur Murray Studio organization and teachers. I believe that regular exercise is absolutely necessary when we reach retirement age. Dancing on a regular basis helps to control weight and strengthen core muscle groups. It may not seem to be much exercise, but the 45-minute regular sessions and parties provide excellent stimulation to my heart rate. The teachers concentrate on several things that are extremely valuable, including core training and posture. These physical abilities are especially important in the smooth dances, but actually applies to all of them. My torso must be able to rotate with control to lead my partner and communicate with her. This strengthened core helps keep waistlines trim and helps with other day-to-day activities. Many of the over 65 crowd have problems with their joints, and we need to use it or lose it. A joint that is not being moved will have a reduced range of motion in the future. The saying, motion is lotion, applies here. We now have some evidence in the medical literature that ballroom dancing is excellent training for the mind in those people over 65. First of all, the gentleman must learn to lead his partner and plan the dancing on the ballroom floor. He must count at the same time, and he must have mastery of the steps that work with the music being played. He must learn to concentrate on the enjoyment of his partner by being completely immune to distractions around him. The lady will learn to follow by sensing the motion of the man. As the dancing experience progresses, he must memorize a routine of steps to perform before an audience. These processes are superb exercises for the mind. Once we had some understanding, but not mastery, of our dancing, we were able to take our skills out to some ballroom dance locations. Arthur Murray provides some of these activities by occasionally visiting a salsa bar or a swing dancing club. There are other venues where dancing can be fun in the community, at clubs, ballrooms, and other activities. We have used our new skill on cruise lines and have been known as the dancing couple by envious onlookers. There is positive feedback from the other couples, both male and female, along with encouragement from our instructors. The instructors at Arthur Murray are also exceptional performers, both locally and nationally. They enter competitions in dancing and perform entertaining routines for us at shows. We feel privileged to attend lessons with such a multi-talented group of men and women. We enjoy the clean, fun atmosphere of the Arthur Murray studio. We meet people of all ages and backgrounds who are interested in the ballroom dancing experience. My wife and I can dress nicely and pay some attention to the style which is appropriate for the ballroom setting. It is fun to feel free on the dance floor and enjoy movement and dance as a form of expression. I think that Arthur Murray will have an increasing number of students in their 60s, 70s, and 80s because of the many benefits the studios provide.
Thank you, George and Claudia from Minneapolis. It is amazing all of the different medical evidence that we have about the advantages for our older generation of ballroom dancing, what it can do for you physically and mentally. And the story you've shared is just wonderful. Thank you so much to the two of you. When we return after the break, we have more letters of thanks regarding the consequences that come with becoming a ballroom dancer and all the wonderful things that that means. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you on the other side on the Ballroom Beat.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just one or two options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex, short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
Beltran Dental Surgery is dedicated to providing the highest quality dental surgery.
Teeth in a Day allows a patient to walk in with their old teeth, sleep under IV sedation, and walk out with a brand new smile. Unlike dentures, Teeth in a Day allows you to eat what you want and still feel like you have your own teeth.
From wisdom teeth removal to implants or creating a whole new smile, call now or visit our website to learn more about our procedures. Get a brand new smile today.
to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
My middle son did not like to come to the dentist, but now he loves to come to the Beehive.
You don't have to be afraid to go to the dentist. Believe me, Dr. B and his worker bees are the best. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Welcome back to On the Ballroom Beat. It's our special Thanksgiving episode, and we're talking about why folks are thankful that they tried ballroom dancing. Our next letter comes to us from Columbia, Maryland. Stephen was a little bit apprehensive about going to his first ballroom dance competition, but he took a leap of faith and he decided to give it a try, and he's so thankful to Joe and Lisa Howard, the franchisees of Columbia, Maryland studio, for encouraging him to try it out. Here's his letter from Columbia, Maryland.
Dear Joe and Lisa, thanks for a great Superama experience. You and the instructors really went out of your way to make sure we all got the most out of the event. I greatly appreciate all that you did to make that outcome possible. I know you say an event speeds up your progress as a dancer, but it's hard to understand till you experience an event firsthand. Something happens to your skill as a dancer when you immerse yourself in training because there's a goal in mind and a plan to achieve that goal. In my case, that started out very scary because of the speed you were throwing new concepts at me. But in the end, it was just the right amount, soon enough in the cycle to give me time to work out the kinks so I was ready for the event. But the event itself was the real training ground. First and foremost was the benefit of immersion into dancing for 3 days. I could feel myself making leaps each day just by watching hundreds of talented professionals and amateurs move past me with impeccable form and styling. I simply couldn't wait to try out new ideas gained from simply observing others more talented than myself. Second was the power of motivation. Watching a 98-year-old woman swing dancing reminded me that dancing keeps you young. Watching the kids perform a salsa formation made it easy for me to smile every time I thought of their cute expressions. General dancing with someone my mom's age and getting a big hug at the end reminded me that dancing is one of the best ways to bring people together of all ages to enjoy a special moment. Getting to know my fellow students a little better brought me closer because it allowed more time to gain from each other's wisdom. And finally, watching Joe and many others having so much fun on the dance floor was a wake-up call that my dancing should always express the joy I feel when I am out there doing what I love to do. From now on, I will dance with even more skill, energy, and passion because of the experiences leading up to and at Superama. Thanks again for helping me realize this soon enough and for making the process and event so fulfilling.
Stephen, congratulations on such a successful time at Superama. For our next letter, we're going to move to Danbury, Connecticut. Now, Paul and Kathy were recently empty nesters. Their last child went off to college, and so they decided to look for a fun new hobby that would reconnect them and give them a way to spend some great quality time together. They found ballroom dancing, and they're so thankful for it.
Dance is an agent of transformation. My wife and I started taking ballroom dance lessons 1 week after our last child headed off to college. It was a timely and impactful transition. Dancing brought us together in whole new ways at a very critical moment in our 26-year marriage and 30-plus years of dating. We learned how to love, laugh, and work together all over again in fun, sometimes frustrating, but always intimate ways. It truly revived, stretched, and transformed us. That would have been good enough, but ballroom dancing has transformed our social life as well. Over the years, we just forgot how much we both loved to dance. Now my wife and I often transform parties by getting everyone up and dancing. From the annual holiday party at work to our many family events, we are always leading the way in ballroom dance, and Arthur Murray of Danbury gave us the skill and confidence to do that. We also make it a point to dance when we travel the world. One very memorable opportunity happened in St. Mark's Square in Venice. There was an outdoor orchestra playing to a large crowd with a much larger group of onlookers standing behind them. The moment was so romantic we simply could not resist the opportunity, and finding enough courage, we started ballroom dancing far in the back of the audience. Before you knew it, there were couples all over the square ballroom dancing to the music. At the height of the moment, the conductor looked directly at us, smiled, and gave us the thumbs up. There were so many couples dancing after that point that someone shouted, "It's a flash dance!" It was an incredible shared moment in dance with the conductor and couples from all over the world. We want to thank our teachers and Arthur Murray of Danbury for making such an incredible moment like that possible. We love our teachers and our studio. With so many more wonderful moments like this and many more memories to come, we are grateful and excited about our future in dance.
Thank you, Paul and Kathy, for sharing your story. I particularly enjoyed the image of you guys dancing in Venice in St. Mark's Square. What a marvelous memory. What a great, great, great moment that you had because you know how to ballroom dance. Now, our final letter is coming from the west coast of the United States, from Temecula, California. This letter is coming to us from Brandon. Brandon is a military veteran, and he is thankful that ballroom dancing was able to help him to heal his wounds and rediscover himself.
My name is Brandon Edwards, and I'm a student at the Arthur Murray franchise in Temecula, California. A little background about myself. I served in the U.S. Marine Corps from 2005 until August of 2013. I did 2 deployments to Iraq and 1 to Afghanistan, all of which were exciting. But the latter in 2011 was certainly the most dramatic, with more than a third of my Marines receiving Purple Hearts. Throughout 2012, everyone who had been in my platoon began to show symptoms of PTSD and TBI, post-traumatic stress disorder, and traumatic brain injuries. When I left active duty, I was being treated for anxiety, depression, anger, and the rest of the package. I was also diagnosed with TBI as the result of multiple IED strikes resulting in some memory loss, loss of coordination, and the inability to focus. Once I had moved back to California, I weaned myself off of the issued pharmaceuticals since I was no longer legally required to take them, and the side effects were usually worse than the problems they were supposed to treat. The resulting feeling is hard to describe, sort of a used-up, half-dead kind of feeling, combined with horrible anxiety. The results of that was staying in a small social clique of other vets and leading a fairly unfulfilling existence. In February of 2014, I decided to make good on a promise to my late grandmother that I would take some dance lessons. I had avoided taking lessons while I was in the Corps since my schedule didn't allow for it, but now I literally had no excuse to not go. Google led me to the Arthur Murray studio in Temecula, where they scheduled me for my first lesson. I took a shot at dressing appropriately, normally, since leaving the Corps I'm not exactly the clean-cut type, and headed over to the studio. Honestly, I was not thrilled at the idea of having a bunch of pretentious civilians shoving me around, marveling at my already poor and now degraded hand-foot coordination. To be completely honest, I would have rather been poking at a booby-trapped 40-pound jug of ammonia nitrate with my bayonet than about to walk through that door. Once I checked in, I got the standard tour and introductions. I was immediately impressed. Visually, the staff matched with my mental image of what dance instructors should look like, and I was completely wrong in my assumptions about their attitudes. Everyone was extremely friendly, went out of their way to make me feel welcome, and the general attitude was, "Trust me, you'll love it." After my first couple of lessons, I decided to commit to getting through the first level bronze program. I figured, what's the worst that could happen? The women are gorgeous, the men are non-threatening, and I was actually starting to have fun. Since my schedule at the time was mostly empty, I started taking 2 private lessons and 1 or 2 group lessons a day. I figured I'd try to get past the awkwardness of being new to this as quickly as possible. I had a lot of difficulty the first few months with the practice parties. A mob of people moving about and flashing lights would send my anxiety through the roof. Gradually, I got better and realized that one advantage of dancing is that it gives you an excuse to turn circles and survey the room, thus feeding my need for situational awareness and massively decreasing my anxiety about dancing in a social setting. Now I have gone from dreading the parties and timing myself to see how long I can last before I have to leave, to looking forward to them to the point where it is the best part of my week. I went to Unique Dance-O-Rama in July, and while I was driving home afterwards, I realized a few things. The first being that I had been there in a ballroom with probably a couple thousand people all weekend, and I wasn't freaking out at all. A little bit of anxiety here and there, but nothing I couldn't handle. 6 months prior, there would have been absolutely no way you would have gotten me in that building. I couldn't even sit through a graduation ceremony. The second being that I hadn't thought about any of the skeletons in my closet since I'd gotten there. 4 days, the longest I've ever gone. Normally, these things are almost constantly in the back of my mind, except for the hour or 2 a day when I'm at the studio. The third thing was that I had been having fun. Not like the normal motorcycles and beer kind of fun, more like little kid at Disneyland fun. It had been a very long time since I had been like that. Also, dancing in front of that many strangers gives you a bit of an adrenaline dump. Not quite as good as a firefight, but without the negative implications to your health. I'm not sure if I can accurately describe the effect all of this has had on me, but I can confidently say that learning to dance is the best thing that I've ever done for myself. It has helped relieve many of my medical issues, both on the physical and mental side, and is definitely the best part of my life right now. I look forward all weekend to my Monday lesson, and can honestly say that I love dancing, and that the staff of Arthur Murray in Temecula is a big part of that.
Brandon, for sharing your story with us, and thank you for serving our country. A great thanks to all of the men and women out there who have served or are serving our United States. We thank you so much for your courage and your love of this country and Constitution. I also want to say a thank you to Margie Masters, who compiled these and other student testimonials that can be found in Arthur Murray Dance Studios all around the world. And again, a big thank you to all of our special guests today, Alex from New Jersey, George and Claudia from Minnesota, Stephen from Maryland, Paul and Kathy from Connecticut, and Brandon from California. We're so grateful to hear your stories of thanks, and we're so glad that we get to share a ballroom dance floor with you, connected throughout the world. On behalf of everyone here at On the Ballroom Beat, we wish you and your family a very happy, healthy, and joyful Thanksgiving. We'll see you next time on the Ballroom Beat.
Cha-cha on the ballroom beat. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Cha-cha on the ballroom beat. You got 2 left feet. Get on the ballroom beat. They're dancing in the street. They're on the ballroom beat. We can tango, we can swing, we can do anything. Walk in through the door and waltz on the floor. You wanna feel the heat? Get on the ballroom beat. Cha-cha on the ballroom beat. Foxtrot on the ballroom beat. Salsa on the ballroom beat. Cha-cha on the ballroom beat.